So you're gonna have a letter to read for the first thing, Mike?
Do I have a letter to read for the
Want to
first thing?
change
Yeah.
the payment?
11 Cushing Place is supposed to be a letter
Not the
there for you.
amount.
Yes, I have a letter to read.
We gotta wait for
Because these
Colleen.
guys
She
were
said to
not
hold
involved
off until
in
she
the
got back.
original
Okay.
agreement.
She was going to get
Do I have
something.
letters for anything
as
else?
long as
Yeah,
they're
looks like I
paying
got a
it,
letter for,
Get a letter for
And they're
this. This
paying
was
all of it
56
before the
file.
whole thing's occupied, I don't care.
Yeah, no problem.
Mill Road.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's just a request to sign Mylar, so it shouldn't need
Yeah.
a read. All right. Minor mod.
Oh, she's back.
Okay.
All right, we good? We good to go? Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. October 9th, Planning Board meeting is now in session. All right, we're gonna start off with 11 Cushing Place.
And I do have a letter to read.
We're being,
Hmm?
I said we should have a reminder that we're being recorded.
We're being recorded.
Yes. For posterity. Okay, this is a letter from Katie Enright, Grist Mill Project, Central Square, Chelmsford, Mass. Members of the board. Howard Stein Hudson, on behalf of Win Stanley Enterprises, requests that the payment in lieu, PILO, for the subject project, as required in the decision for the major modification dated June 1st, 2017, Facts 5 and Special 3, be modified to allow for the PILO to be paid in installments upon certificate of occupancy per unit. The decision currently requires that the PILO be paid in lump sum prior to occupancy. Due to the change in the apartment to for sale product, we request that the PILO be paid upon each closing in the amount of $11,250 for each of the 32 units, to a total of $360,000. Sincerely, Katie Enright.
All right. We'll run around the board with this, start with Nan.
Does that add up to the same amount that was originally agreed?
I think it does.
Okay.
Does it?
You're asking me for math?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
It does? Then I have no issue with it.
Mike?
No issue.
I'm fine with it, perfectly reasonable.
I'm fine with it. Henry?
No issue.
John? Okay.
I move then that we modify our terms accordingly.
Okay.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Very good.
Okay, thank you very much. Good night.
Just for a question, Colleen,
Yep.
on these PILOs going in the future, why don't we do that as like a standard way of doing it?
I think you should wait and do each one with each project, because this one changed
Yeah, it
because
did,
Right.
from
the home ownership's
Yeah.
changed and a new builder came
Just,
in.
I'm just thinking it puts an extra burden on the
option.
builder.
It's
Yeah.
certainly an option to leave out there and think about.
Option, but
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
They're getting
Okay.
leave it up to the negotiations at the time.
Okay,
Negotiations.
outstanding.
All right.
allotments as
278 and 282 Mill Road, signing of Mylars. Do we have anything to read on that one?
Well, there's something in here, but I don't think we normally read anything on the Mylars.
No, but Christina?
Yes.
You had a letter, right?
So, no, I didn't
No, but she's
prepare a
gonna
letter.
comment on it.
So I've met with the engineer, and there's still one outstanding document that I'm waiting for. Otherwise, everything else is fine.
Okay.
So it's up to you if you would like to sign the Mylars,
Yeah.
or wait until I get the letter and then you sign the Mylars, but I don't want to have them wait another
Yeah.
3 weeks, I think it is at this point, till the next meeting. That's completely unnecessary. So to move it along,
We'll
I'm
get 'em
willing to, I
signed.
just we need one more
Yeah, and then we'll just
document.
hold them in the office until
That's all,
we
and
get all
then
the
just give it to them when they
documentation.
drop the stuff off.
Okay.
Do we need to make a motion on this, right?
Okay, then I move that we sign the Mylars, or have the Mylars signed, and the material retained by the office until the last letter arrives in the file.
Sounds good.
Second.
Second, we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Who seconded?
Henry?
Oh, Henry, I'm sorry.
All right, new public hearing, we have none. Continued public hearing, 56 Pile Drive. Planning Board 2019-9.
Okay, now I have one letter
Okay.
that I find in the file here. This is from Christina Papadopoulos. Subject PB File 56 Pile Drive Site Plan and Special Permit. Dear members, this office has reviewed the site plans by Land Tech consisting of 10 sheets dated August 16th, 2019, revised October 4th, 2019, and a supplemental data report dated August 16th, 2019, revised October 4th, 2019. As a result of this review, this office has the following comments for consideration prior to board approval. Some minor technical design and drafting revisions are still outstanding. However, the majority of this office's comments have been addressed. 2, one of the outstanding items is the final sewer design. Final sewer design will need to be approved by the Chelmsford DPW Sewer Division prior to Mylar approval. 3, the drains are proposed to connect into a drain system that is not owned by the applicant. The applicant must show that the owner of the drains has given their permission for them to tie into the drains. This should be completed prior to issuance of a building permit. If you have any questions, please contact this office at 978-250-5228. Sincerely, Christina Papadopoulos.
Okay, you're up.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, good evening. Douglas DeShane representing the applicant. With me here tonight, Maya Minkin from Hub Foundation and Matthew Stangl from Land Tech Consultants representing our engineers. As was stated, we are here on a continued hearing for a special permit and a site plan review. Although I will say, after the last meeting, after consulting with planning staff and speaking with Evan, you'll recall that we were proposing some changes to the roadway itself, moving it, certainly a new drainage system. And Evan felt that that technically constituted a modification to your original subdivision approval. So he asked that we submit a subdivision modification application and fees, which we did. Certainly doesn't affect your review of the project, but at least now officially the roadway changes are part of a modification request. So I think that was sort of some technical, legal, administrative stuff. But we did file it, we paid the fees, and so that was addressed. I guess in light of Christina's letter, you can see that our engineers have been working back and forth with town engineer to address all of the original technical issues, and I think we've done that. Based on questions and things that the board had asked us at the last meeting, as part of our new submission, we did provide lighting plan, lighting locations, and the technical cut sheets for the lights. We're proposing 3 lights on poles, as we told you, and they're downward facing. And there's 3 of them, and they are on the plan set, their locations. They're in approximately the same location I think we showed you at that last meeting. But we did provide all of that lighting information. We were asked to add a dumpster to the plan. We've done that. It is actually located in here. However, we have not shown an enclosure around the dumpster, because you'll recall we're planning on putting a 10-foot chain link fence around the entirety of the site, and then in locations that I'd like to discuss with you, we're proposing to put the privacy slats. We didn't really discuss specifically where the board would want the privacy slats in the thing, and so what we would like to suggest for your consideration is we'd like to put them along this edge here, shown in the light, only because we abut an active parking lot here, and their building is sort of here. Along this area, we've got a significant amount of vegetation, and so it doesn't make a lot of sense to put the slats there, but we are fencing. Along here, again, we abut wetlands and a lot of vegetation, so no slats here. Here, we abut an active business, so we have no need to prevent or do anything there. But we are proposing, and we've committed to the Conservation Commission, that in addition to the fence, we would put the privacy slats all along this property line and again around the corner. So technically our dumpster is enclosed within a site. No one will be able to see it unless you're on the site here
Right.
or looking across. So if the board's comfortable with that, we will, detail the plan to show that the privacy slats will be included in that section of the fencing. The question was asked whether or not we might want to reduce pavement. You'll recall we're paving around the building, and on one side, the other side is going to be left as a hard packed gravel surface. even in light of the fact that that might save us a little money, my clients really feels that they need that pavement. And recall, the fire department had agreed, because we had that pavement, that we met their turnaround requirements here, for the turnaround. So we really have decided we'd prefer to keep that much pavement. It's best for the business, but also for the fire department requirements. Just want to report that we've been to Conservation. Conservation came out, did a site visit. They actually like the design of the roadway and the newly provided drainage system better than the original. And so they were very comfortable with it, and we would expect, they too are waiting for Christina to finish her review, but we're meeting with them next week, and we expect they'll move towards an order of conditions. So no changes came out of the Conservation meeting, although they did support our new design. They liked it much better, so that worked out well. I know Andrea from Land Tech had talked to Christina. We were aware of those sort of conditions, if you will. We're more than comfortable meeting those. We're working on getting the approval from our neighbors. We are going to have to meet with the sewer department to get their okay on the connection. And Andrea said that the minor plan changes were just that, minor, and she would have those done right away. So we're very comfortable with the status of that review. So happy to answer any questions or provide any other information you might need.
All right, well, why don't we go around the board and see if anybody got any more questions for them or comments? And Nan, you got anything?
Yeah, I'm looking through all these drawings, and it's just a huge file.
Want to skip you and come back to you?
Skip me and come
Mike?
back.
No comments. I had mine last time and they were addressed.
Yep. Mike, too.
No comments at this point. It looks as if most of the stuff we discussed has indeed been addressed.
I'll agree with that. It looks like everything's pretty much set. Henry?
The only comment I would have is, and it has nothing to do with us, it's more gonna be the Board of Health. Even though your entire yard is fenced in, we ran into this at the end of Kidder Road with the school bus place. They still require that the dumpster be fenced in. It has more to do with a safety issue than it has to do with a visible issue.
All right, well, we can meet with them and,
Well, you probably will eventually,
yeah.
but,
Well, I think we should be proactive and just go ask them.
Yeah.
That way we can put it on the plan.
I honestly believe they're gonna make you put a small fence around your dumpster.
Okay.
Don?
That's all.
I think they addressed everything we were looking for.
All right, it's still open to public hearing, right?
Yes.
Why don't we put it out to the public and see if anybody out there has any questions or comments to add to this?
It's like,
Wise
All
guy.
right, I'm not seeing anybody moving, so let's move on to,
I move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
all right, we got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, and?
I
Do you have any comments yet?
would move that we grant the minor modification as described to the previously approved definitive subdivision and site plan with all associated special permits.
Second.
And we got a second on that as well?
And I think Hank's on this one too.
Hank, you're in on this one, you can vote on this one, special permit.
I'm fine with it.
Okay,
And should that be contingent on meeting
Christie.
engineering and water, sewage requirements?
That wouldn't be unreasonable to add.
yep, we can throw that in there,
I think that's fair.
okay?
All right.
With that said on it, we got a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes?
Yes.
Chairman, did you include the special permit in
We
there,
did.
too?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, I heard
Yep.
the site plan and minor modification.
I said special permit in there too. So.
Thank you very much.
If he didn't, and we can include that,
Want to take a second vote for the minor
Yeah.
modification?
we did for the.
That was all
Yeah.
included.
So you lumped them together?
I just
Yep.
didn't hear the special permit, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I heard him say it, but,
I believe I said all associated special permits.
and all the,
Thank
yep.
you very
very
much.
good.
Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Good luck, guys. All right,
Good.
moving right along here.
We got some minutes.
Nope, we gotta give a reminder here first, October 15th, 7 o'clock at the police station. Next Tuesday is a presentation of the Fisk House.
And the
We
Oddfellows
get-
building.
Do we know what that's about? What is that?
It's
Is that a new development?
Yeah,
It's a plan for development. So
Okay.
we've done this in the past
Yeah, you've
where
had-
they've had the initial meeting be multi-board, so everybody
Yeah.
hears the same story. And then you can ask general questions, and then when it comes back, then you'll have some more board-specific questions.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's a
So
good
is
way
it
to
actually a
start.
formal hearing so that we have to be present at that?
No, it's not a formal hearing, it's just a presentation showing you what they're thinking
Show and
of.
tell.
So
Okay,
everybody,
so it's just a
yeah,
preview.
little
yeah, so the
preview, yeah.
lease is up this year, and this is something that, the town's been waiting for a long time, so.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you.
You wanna hit the minutes now, or and we'll go back to Donald's, discussion? Yeah, we'll do that. Why don't we, did everybody get a chance to look at the minutes?
I did.
All right, so why don't we do some motions then?
I would move that we approve the minutes of September 11th, 2019.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, man, this is almost current. I move that we approve the minutes of September 25th, 2019.
Get a
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's
You
done.
can't vote on that one, Glenn, you weren't here.
Oh, Uneye me then.
Glenn abstains.
All right,
Thank you.
Article 23, discussion.
Great. Glenn, thank you very much for allowing us to talk, or allowing me to talk about this again. I know I've offended a couple of members of the planning board. I do apologize.
No.
However, I did serve on this committee, and I do know what they went through. And I know how we got to the point where we are, or sort of know how we got to here. However, the committee did meet for 9 months, and we're not doing permitting here, we're doing zoning. And that then falls on our laps. And when a committee, no matter what committee it is, brings something to us, I think we have an obligation and responsibility to take a look at it using our zoning bifocals. And I think in this situation, if you apply what zoning is, and zoning is meant to reflect the values of a community, it's also expected to promote the health, the safety, the morals, and the welfare of a community. Therefore, I can't believe that Article 23 reflects what good zoning is. To put seniors next to an asphalt plant. Now, granted, we talked about the asphalt plant in the committee. They dismissed it. We talked about the grant. Evan brought that up, the grant that we know now is on the table and the town has an opportunity to exercise. They kind of dismissed that, okay? They did claim that they spoke to all the relevant departments. They had them in to interview, and we did have a number in. However, I think we missed one, possibly two, significant departments, especially when you're talking about creating senior housing and affordable senior housing next to an asphalt plant. One would be, of course, the Board of Health. And I think the Board of Health,
We have a letter to.
we
read
have a
it.
letter. Can you possibly read that, Mike?
I'd be glad
It's in the nice pretty folder.
Which one?
It's in the nice pretty folder.
Oh, the nice pretty folder. This nice pretty folder? Oh, okay, certainly, let me read that. This is from the, to us from Sue Rosa, Public Health Director, and the Board of Health. Dear members of the Chelmsford Board of Planning, the Chelmsford Board of Health voted unanimously in opposition to 2 lines of Section 195-150 in Article 23, permitting the development of independent nursing and convalescent living facilities near the asphalt plant in Westford, Sections B, A, and BB. We were made aware of Articles 22 and 23 at our meeting, voted and gave testimony of our objections at the meeting of the Board of Selectmen, all on Monday, the 7th of October, 2019. Indeed, it's true, I was there. Initially, we are concerned by the numerous complaints we regularly receive from residents regarding Chelmsford's asphalt plant along Route 110. Smell, noise, accidents, and road practices such as rinsing trucks with gasoline to prevent sticking can be a nuisance and potential health hazards to our residents. Neither we nor any other department in Chelmsford has authority to remedy acute or chronic issues. We can only refer to the Mass Department of Environmental Protection, which has not acted as timely as we would like. Secondly, we are concerned for at-risk populations with special health concerns and limited ability to choose or remedy their living situation. Seniors frequently have illnesses, such as respiratory problems, that would be adversely affected by the conditions described in the complaints we have received. Additionally, mobility, financial, and guardianship issues can prevent them from relocating temporarily or permanently. Sensitive residents should not be trapped. Please reconsider encouraging the placement of an at-risk population with limited mobility full-time in close proximity to an industry for which we regularly get complaints but have no authority to intervene. We heard testimony from Pam Armstrong last evening that in the course of a prior lawsuit involving Chelmsford residents and the Westford asphalt plant, that there was a determination in that lawsuit attributing no additional risk to living near an asphalt plant. But that has not been our experience. As well, a judge's determination in a single lawsuit is reflective only of the evidence presented by the parties during the course of that legal action. It is not a final determination of the underlying health issue and is not binding on individuals not a party to the lawsuit. Finally, it is our understanding that a planning assistance grant has been received from the state. Wording taken directly from the grant states, this grant application proposes to hire a consultant for the purposes of conducting feasibility studies of the 3-highway interchange along Route 3, including exit 33, Groton Road, Route 40, to determine current and future roles in the local and regional marketplace. What is the future of big box and national retail over the next 10 to 25 years? What are the regional and national trends that may provide for case studies and inspiration of future visions? How does housing, transit-oriented development, and mixed-use zoning play a role? What physical improvements within the public and private realm can be made to facilitate such a future vision? The proposed project would result in the town being in a position to recommend zoning improvements to the fall 2020. With this study being done, there can be no harm and only benefit to the residents of Chelmsford by delaying adoption of Article 23 pending the result of such study. Please read this letter into the record at your planning board meeting on October 9th, 2019. Sincerely, Board of Health members, Nick Parley, Anne Marie Rourke, and Eric Michael.
Okay.
Colleen, can we get a copy of that letter issued to all the planning board members, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. There also seems to be a misconception that asphalt plants, there's no negative externalities for an asphalt plant and for people living next to an asphalt plant. Colleen, if you could load up, I just have a quick video, and just to give you a background, because there's going to be a 13-minute commercial here. This is in 13-second commercial. This is in Texas. And what's happening here is that there's already an existing residence, and an asphalt plant is being proposed.
Yeah.
This existing residence is primarily for seniors. So this is what they're contending with out in Texas. And this isn't actually just in Texas. As you know, this is probably everywhere around the country, wherever you want to put in an asphalt plant. You know, what is remarkable to me is that if we decide to move forward with this and present this at town meeting, we will be probably the only municipality in the country that has ever proposed putting seniors next to an asphalt plant. Dedicated zoning next to an asphalt plant for seniors.
Ready?
I'm ready.
A new asphalt plant is proposed about a half mile down the road at the pond and bicentennial. Commissioners say it will be a big benefit for the county. But residents here at the Katy Creek Retirement Village are concerned many elderly residents at the Bonham complex battle lung issues like emphysema already.
It makes me sad to think that they're not taking that into account, that they could make us really, really ill. They're just gonna get sicker.
Commissioner Dean Lackey says Austin Bridge wants to build the plant at this spot because it has a natural gas line and supplies enough power to heat the asphalt. He says the company needs asphalt for the Highway 82 expansion project.
I said actually to the county commissioners, we buy asphalt and such from it, be closer.
The EPA's website states fumes from asphalt plants can cause cancer, liver damage, respiratory issues, and more. Leslie Kolhoff says if the plant comes to town, she would be shut in or forced to leave.
My disease called sarcoidosis, which is attacking my lungs right now.
Kolhoff and other seniors are asking for the company to build the plant somewhere else.
Finding someplace to move is a huge challenge. When you don't move well, and everything's pretty painful for you to do.
The city of Bonham has already issued the plant a permit, but Lackey says nothing is set in stone.
It's not a done deal. We'll listen to the citizens and see what complaints, and we'll try to address their complaints.
A public hearing will be held Wednesday morning in front of the Lake Zoning Commission, and then another public hearing next Tuesday in front of county commissioners. And after that, commissioners.
So they just run through and they're talking about their process, what happens next. Basically, what I just wanted to show you this video, there is concerns, and we should have concerns. There's concerns whenever an asphalt plant goes into a community. Unfortunately, as we all know, Chelmsford has no standing according to the court. So therefore, we had no control of what Westford was going to do and all the benefits that they were going to reap from putting in their asphalt plant. But we do have control over what we're going to zone to put next door to that asphalt plant. The committee actually may have overlooked one other individual that might have had something to share. Might have been pro, might have been con, I don't know. But I would think that if it's possible, Glenn, if I see Deb Seriani here from the Director of Senior Center, is there something you would like to ask, or is there any, or is that?
Can we even do that without opening a public
I
hearing?
think we'd have to
Can't
open up
do
a
that.
public hearing all over again.
And this is not, you can't do that without publishing.
Point
Hang
of
on.
order.
Go ahead, George.
Is this a public hearing? Are you gonna take
is
a
not.
vote on this again?
No.
Well, you're introducing more evidence on this, on particular article.
We just
So-
brought up a discussion on it because
discussion,
he
George,
wanted to
nothing more.
discuss
Within
it.
within
So I
the-
gave him the time to discuss it. I don't plan on taking another vote on it.
Okay.
I plan on our vote staying the way it's going to stay, as far as I'm concerned, and we'll go around the board and ask the rest of the board how everybody else feels about it. It's.
Yeah.
Does anybody else want to chime in on, did anybody else think we should reopen the public hearing and put it back out to votes again?
No.
No.
Well, I will say I do
But
not.
I will,
Mike?
I do
Henry?
have comments.
No, I think it's gonna live or die on the town meeting floor, and that's basically probably what's gonna happen.
All right, unlike the Board of Selectmen where there was, one member was a little confused as to why you advanced something to the floor of town
Yeah.
meeting, or 6 of us are basically saying that, yes, we support and we recommend senior housing next to an asphalt plant. Just to be clear.
Yeah,
We're
and
not
I will-
advancing it to town meeting floor to let them debate about it, because that's the right thing to do.
Okay, and I'll look right at
Just
the
a
camera
point.
and say that.
Just a point on this whole matter, there is no asphalt plant there as we speak.
It's not open.
So
It's not there.
permitted and you
It's
don't think it's gonna
permitted.
come along.
It's not built yet. So we're putting a rule against something that isn't there.
But it's
If it was
permitted.
there, then you might have an argument about it.
Permitted, though.
How many other things have been permitted that have never got built? Granted, they're probably gonna build it, I agree with you
That's an
100%.
interesting point, Glenn, you're right.
They probably will build it, but it's not built now.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
Can I comment on this?
Sure.
I have real concerns about bringing this up at this point in time. One, this board sponsored a committee that included multiple members of the board, that included residents of the area, that included members of other affected boards. That committee went through a lot of very well documented and very well analyzed evaluations of the potentials that could be put in that area. And they came back to this board with a technically justified recommendation. So one, if we decide not to support those recommendations, when will we ever get participation from a citizen committee again? When will we ever have the respect of the citizens of this town for listening to the citizens of this town? I'm concerned about the data that was presented here tonight, which was not data at all. It was a news article about someone's fears.
Oh, no, actually, if I could interject. they
Please
did say-
don't interrupt.
They did say EPA.
They did
Wait.
say EPA.
Oh, that's,
They absolutely did. They mentioned EPA. But that was basically an article that said the people in that area are scared of living next to this. And they're scared because they think that it will affect their air quality, and they already have lung issues, and therefore they're scared of what they don't know. The EPA doesn't make up regulations based on somebody's feelings. They base it on medical studies. They have requirements for air quality from these places, and they have enforcement methods and monitoring methods for the air quality from these places. If we as a town decide that the EPA regulations aren't good enough, that we don't believe them, and we decide to start making up our own, then we've got the liability for it. And frankly, I don't want the liability for it. I think the EPA belongs to the EPA. And I don't have the expertise to make new standards. They have the medical studies. They made the standards based on those medical studies. And I'm certainly not the right person as a planning board member to make new regulations.
And to get back on your comment about the dating of that TV article. In the
There is
past
that
10
too.
years, the scrubbers that they put on
that was
asphalt plants.
2019. That was just April of that interview,
Yeah, it was.
So
just to clarify.
But the scrubbers on the asphalt plants that are out there now don't give off any noxious vapors.
Changed in the last 4 or 5 months?
it's simply not permitted.
Then
They have
why-
regulations
then
for
why
that.
was it that the
So-
town never said a word about this when the housing authority put in 100 and some odd units right next to an asphalt plant in Chelmsford? Those people's lives aren't as good as the people's lives that
I think, I
might not
think
be
on a
good if
pretty-
an asphalt plant may go in?
Yeah, I
Right?
think on a regular basis, though, the Board of Health has received complaints about that asphalt plant.
Then why wasn't that brought up then, saying, no, you can't put them apartments here?
So my other
Now you'll have to
concern
go
is
back
that,
That's not things for this board,
did I
though,
have the
right?
floor?
Yeah, Nancy has the floor.
Mr. Chair, did I have the floor? Could I
think so.
continue?
If you want to, go ahead.
Thank you.
Have fun.
Yeah, I get it. But the other thing I'm concerned about is that because we did put housing authority, housing right next to an asphalt plant, if we now decide that, maybe that's dangerous, and we've got all these little kids in the housing authority housing, maybe we're gonna have to, in terms of liability, get rid of that housing, and oh, by the way, do land taking for everything around it, because it's now a dangerous area. And I don't think we're in a position to do land taking on all the bloody housing that's around that asphalt plant in South Chelmsford. And the last thing I'd like to point out is that with or without Article 23, senior housing and facilitated and independent senior living facilities are permitted in that area.
Special permit.
Special
We're creating
permit.
by right zoning that's encouraging and promoting this area for senior housing.
What are we accomplishing here?
Nothing, absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Time, I think.
You're absolutely right, Henry.
We're spinning our wheels.
All right.
But what we are doing is misleading the public about whether or not we support this article that we've put forward.
Oh, no.
And I think we've shown that the board, the majority of the board supports this article. And I
Actually,
think,
if you want, we can go back around and we can do it again. I mean, if you, Nan. if
We're
you
not
think it's
taking another
important-
vote.
I'm not,
No, if you think it's
we're not
important
doing
that
it
everybody
again.
understands it's
I-
6-1 vote, that's fine.
I think we've had enough with this. So with that being said,
I got a motion.
well, no,
Can
we're
I
gonna
say
do the
something to
October
this?
30th meeting. We're
No.
gonna have one on October 30th.
Can I ask
Yep, go ahead, Hank.
Dawn a question? I feel just like Nancy does. And I'm kind of wondering, the way my mind thinks doing investigations is who or what is behind this agenda undermining our board? Because I'm getting upset about it. I'm not even a full-time member. You know, you've been on that committee for 9 months.
And I brought it up, so.
Well, yeah, but now at the 11th hour, you had the
You know-
economic.
you know why,
devel-
Hank?
Let me finish.
I'm sorry.
You had Sam Chase up. You're hitting the Board of Health. You're hitting the Finance Committee, the Board of Selectmen, undermining this board as far as I'm concerned. We did our work, right? We did it. You were on the committee, and now you're throwing stuff at us every month, like trying to sabotage this committee's work. And I take offense at it, even though I'm
I
an associate
apologize
member.
to you, Hank.
That's how I feel.
I just want to save you the embarrassment when this gets to town meeting, because this is.
I won't be
embar-
embarrassed
now,
what the
personally, Hey,
vote
this is me
goes.
now, Hank, let me talk. This is an embarrassment to the town and to me. And I'm offended to think that we're gonna put seniors next to an asphalt plant. I'm not sure if you've checked with your mother, if she wants to
My
live
mother's
next to an
dead.
asphalt plant, but maybe check with her, or check with any senior in town, and see if they wanna live next to an asphalt plant.
First of all, I'm a senior. I have asthma from 9/11 when I went to the hole.
And
And
you
I'll tell
wanna
you
live
right
next to an
now,
asphalt plant?
that wouldn't affect anything. It really wouldn't in this day and age. And honestly, the Board of Health letter, I get there just with the health, but when it goes to, they start incorporating zoning issues and out of their purview, it's like, I don't even think they wrote that letter. I think they were coerced into us. And that's how I think. So I'm not trying to insult anybody, but I think there's an underlying issue here, trying to sabotage this board and this committee.
I'm
sorry for the way I
apologize if
talk.
I offended you.
And I'm sorry if I offended you.
Yeah,
'cause
no
I know
worries,
I'm
no
not
worries.
from the edges.
Okay. With that being said,
Yeah, I think we can roll this up. I think there are honest opinions and feelings on all sides here, so and I'm not inclined to fault anybody. But we had made a decision once, and I'm not inclined to revisit it. So I think we can go forward, and it'll be 6-1, and that we said that at the Board of Selectmen meeting Monday night, and that will be what will be reported at town meeting. And I think that's fair enough to say. So with that,
we got one more motion to make.
Henry usually makes it.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Very good.